Coming up on this episode, we're going to talk about the SteamBox specs. Valve has finally released them. Half-Life 3 is finally coming. Don't get too excited. And I'm going to give you my impressions of GTA Online, which, well, you'll see. And this episode starts now. This episode of GT Live is brought to you by PreSonus. PreSonus makes some of the highest quality gear around, like mixers, preamplifiers, monitors, controllers, signal processors, and even software. For more information, please visit PreSonus.com today. Welcome everyone to another edition of GamerTech.tv, the internet broadcast that focuses on the technology that powers our favorite video games. And of course, we bring you cool reviews and news and gaming things like that. Joining me, as she always does, she is the public relations manager for GamerTech.tv. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Welcome, Annie, back to the show.
Hello.
Now
My eyelashes got stuck together because I was scared I wasn't dry.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm Jace Rossi, by the way, in case nobody knew.
Okay.
I forgot to say that in the intro.
I'm good.
Are we good? We good to go?
Yes.
Are your eyelashes okay? Are they functioning?
Yeah, I can open my eye. It's fine.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Don't want any, workman comp cases.
I'm good.
Okay. Anyways, you're probably wondering, since if you're watching the live show, this is a Sunday and not a Saturday.
We
It's all
can't make
Annie's
up our
fault.
mind. Whatever.
It's all her fault that we're doing it on Sunday.
Somebody had a sore throat that he just couldn't talk through.
I couldn't. I got sick yesterday on Saturday. And so, I don't know, my head was just, felt like it was in a vice, and I have allergies, and it was just bad, and I couldn't talk.
Yesterday was like a big season change. Like it went from being
was
like
literally
90 to 60
yes,
one
it
day.
was 90 one day and 60 like that Friday. And it just completely messed me up. So I couldn't talk. So instead of waiting a whole week like some people would do, we are doing one on Sunday that you'll get tomorrow. So, yay.
Yay.
Go us. See, we're good internet broadcasters. We give people what they want. Not really. Anyways, a couple of things we wanted to mention before we get into the stories. Unlocked is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's our live gaming stream. So make sure you don't forget that. It's on the calendar.
And Jay is actually joining us for that. My hand magically came into screen.
Ooh, magic. Look. Wow.
He's actually joining us with those now. If you've been watching them, most of the time you were just seeing me. Now you're actually going to start seeing him.
I know. Now you're going to see both of us. And we have this whole idea, too, of like making this way bigger than it probably should be.
Which is the J way.
Which is my way. We probably are going to end up having at one point, probably by January maybe, of dual screens, dual cameras, and studio shots and all kinds of things of why we game. It'll be overkill, and she'll let me do it.
Let me just say how much I'm looking forward to raiding in this really uncomfortable chair.
Okay, we'll get better chairs. Okay, jeez. That's another story. I wanted to mention this too. We had no, not chairs.
That's what you're talking about.
Oh God, that's it. I'm done. I'm just kidding. No, we actually had to go to the Apple store.
We did.
And first time ever. And we drove to the mall. We called because what was happening was her iPad stopped charging. So we were like, oh crap. So we called Apple, and they were like, take it to the Apple store and they'll look at it and everything like that. It was still under warranty.
Give us an appointment time. I wasn't aware that you had to have an appointment at the Apple store.
Yes, you have to have an appointment at the Apple store.
Do not go to the Apple store without an appointment.
No, because they will look at you very meanly and kick your butt out the door. No. So we got an appointment. We left. We went up there. They couldn't find the appointment. But luckily, they still gave us the same time.
They were nice enough because I had like a little, like a little ticket number and everything like that. So I think the girl felt bad for me and she went ahead and scheduled me in. somehow.
If you've never been in an Apple store, though, well, let us explain to you just the experience of being in an Apple store. If you ever want to know what a zombie apocalypse probably would feel like, go to an Apple store, because that's about what it's like.
Like, we went.
And we're not even in that huge of a city.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I mean, it's one of the bigger malls in the city, but it's not
crazy.
the biggest. And the Apple store is not that big. And it was like, what? Like a Tuesday afternoon at 2:30.
Yes.
So, like, the middle of the day on a weekday. And the entire mall is like, you might see 2 or 3 people walking ahead of you. Not like, a mall would be on a weekend.
Yeah.
It's because they were all in the Apple store. There had to at least be 100 people in that store.
Literally. And we're not exaggerating. You could even move. There were so many people in the Apple store. And I grant you, the iPhone 5S and 5C just came out. But I've passed by Apple stores, but not during launch times. And it's always like this. It is always 100 and 200 people shoved into a little building, little store, all just wanting Apple products. It was kind of creepy. It was like, man, like, I know there's fanboys, but like,
and the poor guy across from us.
Oh yeah. We'll give you a little story. His son takes his iPhone 4S to the pool every day, and he brought it in because it stopped charging and the home button stopped working. So the Apple genius comes over, looks at it, and takes it back there. A lot of people don't realize that in the bottom of the iPhone, any Apple product, where the connector is and inside, there's these little white strips. And if these little white strips come into contact with water, moisture, liquid, anything like that, it turns them red. Not humidity, though, but any kind of like liquid. So he goes and tests it, comes back and said that the phone had been in contact with water. And at the time, the guy's like, well, that's impossible. It's been sitting there for a whole week and it hasn't charged. It hasn't left, on top of the laptop. And he's like, well, sir, I'm sorry that it's been in contact with water. And goes on for about 10 minutes of trying to tell this Apple genius that there's no way it came into contact with water.
Because the point of it is, the Apple genius had basically came back, told him it was water. They could replace it for $200.
Yeah, because
it was once he said that we can't do anything without $200. Then the dad started to be like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, he was just like, well, that's, well, I'm going to give you $200.
Impossible.
He's like, that's impossible. He's like, there's no way it came into contact. And he was like, sir, he's like, I hate to tell you, but it's been in contact with water. He's like, he showed him the thing, took out this little pin and showed him with a light. And sure enough, it was red. And he was just like, so he's like, so let me tell you this. He's like, what if he takes it to the pool every day, but he doesn't get it in, near the water? He's like, it's an indoor pool. It can't get wet. Yeah, the genius looks at us and it was just like, really? Is this guy really telling me this?
So basically what the dad is trying to say, because it was an indoor pool, that it's humidity from being inside the room of the pool. Because, I mean, if you've ever been to an indoor pool, they're awfully, they're humid. You're humid in the room. So that's what he was trying to pass it off as.
Yeah, that didn't work.
And the guy was like, dude, they're bright red.
They're like,
bright
no,
red. This has been submerged.
He even said that it didn't have water damage enough to mess up the screen. So I don't think actually the pool was the issue. I think he spilled like soda or something, because it was just the home button and the bottom connector, and the screen worked fine and the phone still worked. It still functioned properly, and it started to charge a little bit as they finally was there. But this guy was just getting so angry, and I give props to the Apple genius. This guy looked at him and goes, sir, I'm going to tell you one last time. It came into contact. We're going to replace it for $200. If that's not what you want to do, you have a good day.
I kind of like,
wow. I was like, that dude just put that customer in his place. And
like, up until that point, I kind of wanted to jump in and try to like save the Apple tech, because the guy was getting mad and be like, you should just, buy Square Trade, that it covers it, it's fine. Just
as long as you buy it within the first 30 days.
Right.
And obviously that was not it, because this was obviously a hand-me-down phone.
Yeah, but I'm just, like, I kind of wanted to like jump in because I have Square Trade
on your iPad.
On my iPad, and everybody should have Square Trade.
Square Trade is awesome if you buy any kind of like tablet or laptop or TV or anything like that within the first 30 days. You can get Square Trade, which will cover it past the manufacturer warranty, and it covers anything. I mean, I can drive over the iPad with a truck and put it in water.
Short of losing it or having it stolen, they'll replace it or fix it,
which is awesome.
And it's like $99 for 2 years with no deductible.
Yep.
And it's but the one catch is that they'll fix it for as many times as it needs to be fixed if it's something fixable, up until the amount that it was worth. Like my iPad's insured for $800, so they'll fix it and replace it up to $800. And then if once it gets to that point, I have to basically
buy a new one.
Yeah, they've considered it replaced, and I have to buy a new warranty.
Yeah.
But unless you're tossing your iPad around, I don't think you're going to break it that often.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're just stupid, then Square Trade is awesome. But yeah, needless to say, he walked out without his phone. Problem with her iPad was that it was the charging cable, nothing else.
Yeah.
So,
although our Apple Genius was really nice, and she was
awesome.
Let me see my iPad for a minute.
Well, I'm using it.
Well, you can use it not for 4 seconds. Okay, so go to my camera. Because this
it's not gonna show up.
You can kind of see there. We'll go like that. It's my background. If you can't tell,
it's a Mario.
It's a Mario screen. And when the Apple Genius first turned it on, she was like, "Wait a minute, there's Mario on iPad?" It took her a second to realize that it was my background.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. She really liked it. I like it too.
Yeah, and then they spent 20 minutes trying to pull up some other wallpaper.
Yeah, because she was like, "Oh, I know a really cool Mario wallpaper," and yeah.
So, yeah, but it was actually we got in there at 2:20. We got out by 2:40.
Yeah, even though they had to squeeze our appointment in because it got lost, we still were seen within 5 minutes of 2:20.
They were overly nice.
They were very nice.
So props to Apple for that. Their experience for that. Unless you mess up your phone on your own bad terms, then they get kind of snippy.
And even that guy was all he was polite for a long time.
He was polite until about 20 minutes of telling the guy, "Look, it came into contact with water. Either buy a new one or get out of the store." Not really. I mean, he put it in nicer terms. Anyways, that's our experience there for the Apple Store. We got some cool things that are going to be coming out probably in the next couple of weeks. We have reviews coming in from Apivia, Logitech, Raid Max, I think PNY. We got all kinds of stuff coming in. So make sure you look for that. We'll be doing it on the show. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the case reviews.
Because they're large.
They're a little big.
There's one
in the studio right now.
Twice as big as our dog. Our dog could sleep in it. It could be a doghouse.
Okay, it's twice as big as the dog. Try
3 times probably.
Okay, the size of a Great Dane. This was the size of this case. It is huge.
It's a large case.
It's a large case. I'm still trying to figure out how to do those. But we got some cool stuff from Logitech and Raid Max and Apivia and stuff like that. So reviews are coming.
Can I just say something real fast about Logitech?
No.
Please.
Okay.
As the public relations manager, every company out there should look at Logitech and how they handle their PR.
Oh my God.
And
yes.
They have the best PR. They respond. There's different people that handle different things, so they're not all overwhelmed. They actually call you back. Yes. They're just awesome. And they've been awesome since like we said
in pre-show.
We've been doing this for a while. They have always been the best and easiest company to work with.
I agree. So
and they have awesome stuff.
They do. And we got awesome stuff coming in for you guys. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get to the first story because my kind of impressions go with the first story. GTA Online has been released since October 1st. We all know that I got the game, got a PS3 bundle for it. I somehow feel this is a mistake now. The story I want to talk about is that there's more than 1,000 people who worked on GTA Online. Okay, which is a lot of people for one little thing of the game. That's a lot of people.
How many people do you think worked on Star Wars?
Like the Old Republic?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because they had different teams and stuff I don't think it's 1,000 people.
Even including voice actors?
Well, maybe. But I still don't think it's still 1,000 people. Anyways, just on the GTA Online part, 1,000 people worked on it. Here's the problem. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. I got to play it once.
For some people it works.
Once. I know, and it's ticking me off because I'm looking at people on Twitch, and some of them have PS3s, and I can't get on. Don't know why. Like, maybe mine's broken. Better not be. I just bought it. But no, it seems that the Xbox 360 version of GTA Online is working a whole lot better than the PS3 version.
It's because you got a PS3.
It is.
Had you kept your Xbox, or got a new Xbox.
Exactly. The PS3 version would have worked fine. I did get to play it for about 5 hours. That's the most I've gotten to play it. And then it kicked me off. And then it kicked everybody off. And then this is after the new patch that was supposed to fix all of these issues. It still has the issue that the one time I logged off and logged back in, I lost my car and it reverted back to like 2 levels before. That kind of sucks because when you first start GTA Online, it tells you to go get a car. You can get the theft protection system for free, the tracker for free the first time. Okay, so I went in there and I got the car I wanted, and I put it in there and I was driving it around. And what the tracker does, and I wish it did this in the game, is an icon will come up on your map and tell you, hey, this is where your car is. That's awesome.
So you don't open your garage like you do in the regular game and go, hey, where did I leave my car?
Well, most of the time it gets sent to the impound, and then for some reason it was just disappearing. So
it's real life, dude. Where's my car?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was cool. But then when I got kicked off the game and I came back in, it was gone. And I was like, well, crap, maybe I don't have a garage yet because you have to buy property. There's so much more you can do in the online compared to actually, you can buy certain things in the game, but online is where you can buy like any of the safe houses you want. There's like a 10-car garage. You can keep them all in there. And it's really cool the way, it works. Thing is that I lost this original car. And when I went to go get another car to do it, because like I said, it went back 2 levels, it didn't give it to me. So now I just have to randomly steal cars until I get enough money to buy a crappy 2-car garage to put them in and make that my safe house. I have no safe house.
That sucks. I
guess my only thing I can do is just delete that character and restart it.
Yeah, that's true.
And go back there since I'm not very far. That was the one thing that was a bummer for me, is that glitch, and it just hasn't worked. I mean, it worked like that 5 hours I played. Now here's the cool parts. Besides that, if you take that equation away, once they get all the bugs worked out and they get it to where it's actually functioning, I can log in, switch, it works fine, everything like that. It's going to be so awesome, because if you guys have played All Points Bulletin, it's a lot like that in the sense of like the way crews work, the cars. I know, like that. We were big fans of All Points Bulletin, especially the Reloaded one. Like, it was free to play. We played the crap out of that.
We did. Wasn't very good.
It was. Yeah, it was.
I said I wasn't very good.
Oh, you weren't.
It was
good.
Fine.
The game was fine. The game's unfortunately now pay to win, which I hope GTA Online doesn't go that way, because you can get like $100,000 like in your bank. That's another cool thing too, is with your money. If you have your money on you, and now you can get killed by anyone who's an actual player.
Right.
So if you get killed, they can take your money that's on you. So always remember, you can use your app in your phone or go to an ATM and deposit the money that you're carrying into your bank account, because they can't touch that. I learned that the hard way. Luckily, I didn't have a whole lot.
Were you ganked?
Okay. Well, I've been reading a lot of people that were like, hey, the second you log in, you just get pummeled to death and robbed. Pretty much. That's pretty much what happened to me. Luckily, I didn't have very much money. But the cool part is I like the fact that you can put it in the bank, and if you go to buy something and you don't have enough cash on you, excuse me, it'll actually pull it out of the bank. I think that's cool. If this is the fun part, and I got to do this before I got kicked off. Any of the convenience stores, there's little things on the map that'll tell you, hey, you can go rob this place, and you can hold up the clerk. And if you have a headset, you can actually scream into the headset to make the clerk go faster. Like, it understands you in that sense.
That's cool.
The cell phone, if you have like your friends or your crew, you can call from your cell phone in the game and talk to them through your headset.
That's cool too.
So that's really cool. I like that. If you do missions, you can do missions. Like if you start a mission, you can host it. There's different types of missions. There's like deathmatch. I think there's like team deathmatch. I haven't figured out where the heists or any of those are. I don't know if you can just do them.
And is it cross-platform?
Well, this is the thing, is I don't know. I don't think it is, unfortunately. The way the social club makes it sound, it is, because it shows each of the crew members, like PS3, Xbox, it shows that on the social club. And I don't know why it does that, but I mean, I don't see Chase online. Right. Like I can't add Chase because, you know, his Xbox 360 name, I'm not going to say it. If I add it, it's already taken by someone else on PSN. So I don't think it's cross-platform, which really sucks. I mean, it's going to be 2014 and we can't get cross-platforming. I mean, really? I mean, grant you, it's Rockstar. I mean, we can't even get MMOs to do that yet, I guess, but I want to be able to play a console to PC and stuff like that. But, you know, the experience that I had for those 5 hours was great. It was actually fun. I didn't have any lagging problems until the servers went down. Driving is just like in the game. I had no problem with that. What? You're laughing because...
Define no problem.
Hey, if you smash down a couple nuns, it's fine. No problem.
You were once driving down the highway without 2 tires.
Well,
you were down 2 tires. I walk in the room and I'm like, why is your car running wonky? He's like, I don't got tires.
Like, hey, when you got a 4-star wanted level, you don't got time to stop.
Where'd your tires go?
The police shot them out.
Okay.
I robbed a convenience store. Man, did they get pissy. They really do if you rob a convenience store. There's different places you can go around and rob. There's different hidden things. There's like hidden treasures, like in the water. You can buy a whole lot of different properties than you can in the actual game. You can do everything you can in the game as far as like shooting and running people over and stealing things. It's only limited to 16 people, which I haven't found a full server yet. Xbox 360 has. They're actually hoping that they can bump up to 32.
So there's only 16 people on your whole map ever?
Yes. There's only 16 people in the game at one time. Which doesn't sound like a whole lot. Now, you can make private instances, I think, that, you know, you can invite just your crew and you guys can go do stuff. I mean, the NPCs and all the stuff interacts with who's ever doing it. There's a couple of missions I did by myself, which I didn't realize that you could do those by yourself, but they don't give you, I didn't get any cash for it because I guess I didn't do it with people. The races are fun. They're a little difficult, you know, because they make you go some crazy ways. As far as people, this is the thing that really got me is I'm waiting in a lobby and there's 3 or 4 people that are in there and this kid comes in and literally is like 6, 7 years old. I swear to God. And he's just like, oh my God, look at all these noobs. He's like, am I the only high level person? He's like, God, these people need to learn to play the game. But he's actually cussing. Like, I was gonna say, he's saying the F word every
I was gonna say,
word.
Like that was explicitives throughout the entire thing.
And and there's a Twitch streamer, Tally. He had the same problem of little kids coming in, and finally he was just like, where are your parents?
Like, find your parents.
I was like, go find your parents because you don't need to be playing this. And so yeah, running the little kids was kind of a bummer. You can mute everybody except your friends and your crew, or you can do just your crew. So I mean, you can mute whoever you want. You know, you have to do it kind of every time you join, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Then I totally forgot my story I was telling you. ATMs. There's ATMs throughout the city, and like they're at the bank. They're in convenience stores. If you take sticky bombs, once you get them, you can plant sticky bombs on the ATM and blow up the ATM. And
Doesn't that blow up all the money?
No, it gives you the money and you can pick up.
Okay.
If you kill pedestrians, you get their money. I found a sweet trick, and I don't know if it's an exploit or not.
Maybe you shouldn't talk about it.
Well, there's bugs like this. There's duping in the game because they haven't figured out that bug yet. And you can dupe cars, and then see that's the thing is, like, if I go and get a car, I can take it back to the custom auto place and I can sell it to them. And if you get a good car, you know, I kept getting those like the Porsche 911 lookalikes, and I was getting like $12,000 for that car. And so I went into different ones and sold it and racked up money. And if you go back to the same one, it'll come up and say, hey, we don't want any more cars. So I went and drove to all the other ones. So I racked up money fairly quick. doing that. I don't know if it's an exploit or not, but yeah, you can make money. There's just that's pretty much the whole object, is to make money, buy as many properties, and then your crew can hang out at the properties. You guys can have a big garage and everything like that. You can give access to your cars to your crew members or friends. You can restrict them from not. So, I mean, as far as like playing the game, it was actually really awesome. And I really, really liked it. The 5 hours that it worked. And now I can't get back on it. So I think once they work out the bugs, this is definitely going to be something that's going to be played for a while. And they said they have like 45 years of content.
Good Lord.
For Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto Online. So I'm sure we're going to get DLC packs for online and for the game. So, but I mean, if you can get on and play it, it's probably better to play it with friends. I mean, I don't have anybody on there because I couldn't either get into the game or they bought it on Xbox. Hopefully my brother will get on there and play it since he has it now. So I think playing with a friends or a crew is probably the best way, but it's not a complete bore if you're doing it by yourself. So right now I would say if you want to play it at your own risk. If you want to wait, you can, because it's just going to be better the longer you wait. But I was really, really, really happy with the experience I had, the 5 hours I got to play. All right, moving on. Another's like, shut up, we don't care. Look at her. She doesn't care. She's like, I don't play this. I play WoW.
I play.
You play.
WoW.
Yes.
I play other things.
So next story. We've talked about Valve. We talked about the controller. We've talked about the OS. We talked about them with the box. And now their site doesn't want to load.
You have this problem every week.
I know. It's just when I'm doing this. Oh, there it goes. All right. So no, that's not the right story. So they released the specs for the SteamBox. Now, we all talked about the SteamBox that was kind of leaked. It was the piston box, and the specs on that was not good. It was a generation behind on most things, and it was $1,000. And everyone was just like, no, this can't be right. So finally they came out with the SteamBox. Now, if you guys remember the piston box, just go Google it. I should have put an image up. It was real small. It was like the size of a GameCube. The SteamBox is actually going to be about the size of an Xbox 360, maybe a little bigger. Not by much, like by 0.4. So if you lay your Xbox 360 down or your PS3, that's about the size of the SteamBox. The specs on it, I don't know how much this thing is going to cost, but it's not going to be $399, that's for sure. The video card alone in it is worth $1,000. Now, this is the prototype that they're sending out. I'm sure they're going to have different levels of prices and different specs and everything like that. I really want this prototype box because this thing is awesome. All right, I'm going to go down the list here. It has an NVIDIA Titan. Okay, we all know the Titan is like the top of the line card. Okay, that's one of the boxes you can get. Now that card is $1,100 by itself. It can have the GTX 780, the 760, and the 660. So those are your ranges of video card and price. 660 is about, $100, $200 on a good day, maybe $250 at the most. It has an Intel i7 4770, and then some of them will have an i5 4570. So you're getting a pretty good high-end processor. You're getting i7. So now you have a Titan and an i7 so far. It will come with 16 gigs of RAM and 3 gigabytes of DDR GPU. So it will have 3 gigs of RAM for just the video card on top of the 16 gig. It's not going to take away from that. So it's going to have its own dedicated thing, which I think is kind of cool because most onboard videos share with the system memory and this one doesn't. You get a choice of, it's a 1 terabyte / 8 gigabyte hybrid.
What does that mean?
It's an SSHD. So basically the SteamOS boots, it's one drive, but it's an SSD in an actual platter hard drive in one unit. Your OS is going to boot off the 8 gigabyte SSD because that's going to make it faster. Everything else will be installed to the 1 terabyte drive. That's kind of cool, but that they're using the hybrid. It's kind of a cool idea. It has a internal 450 watt, 80 plus gold certified power supply. Now you're thinking, well, the 450 watts not enough for the Titan. That requires at least 600 watts. Got me. They say 450 comes in all of them. Maybe they're wrong. The dimensions are 12 by 12.4. I'm pretty sure the Xbox is 12. I think it's 12 or 10 by 12 or 12 by 12. But really it's 12.4. So it's 0.4. It's a little bit bigger than the Xbox 360. For reference, here it is. For the Xbox 360, 4 gig is 12.4 by 11.9. This is 12 by 12.4, so it's a little... Barely. It's like... So basically the size of an Xbox 360. But yeah, those are the specs for the prototype that they're going to be sending out. I want one of these now, just because...
I have a question.
Okay, what is your question?
What Steam game requires that high end of a system?
Any of the Call of Duty games. But see, this is the thing, is anything that you're going to play, like Call of Duty or, well, Battlefield would be on Origin. Any game that's going to require, like, okay, Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs will probably be on, I don't know if it'll be on Origin or Steam either. Anyways, any of the higher end games, like Call of Duty, Ghosts, things like that, will be on Steam for PC.
Okay.
To play it on your SteamBox, you have to stream it from your computer to the SteamBox.
So does that mean your computer has to be as high end as your SteamBox?
It has to be fairly beefy, not that beefy. But I mean, most people who are going to play that game anyways are going to have the compute power to do that. If it's a Linux released game, they can play it natively on the console. So I think they had to give you pretty beefy hardware to handle the streaming of the game and to still give you good, FPS and performance. I still just feel that I'm not going to buy one.
No.
I mean, if I'm going to play Call of Duty, I'm either going to play it on a console for that experience or I'm going to play it on my computer. Now, like me, I don't like playing shooter games on console. I'm more of a PC guy. I like the mouse and keyboard. But now you can get the same thing on your big TV. I'll say again, I can hook my computer up just as well to my big ass TV and hit big picture mode, and it changes it into the same thing.
Well, a lot of people don't have their 70-inch TV half a foot away from their computer.
Well, yeah, that's true. But now here's the thing. If this thing is going to cost $2,000 or $3,000 for a SteamBox, I can go for a fraction of that and build another gaming rig to put in my living room and just buy the Steam controller for those certain type of games, wireless mouse and keyboard. And then boom, I have the same experience. I can even run the Steam OS on it if I want to do streaming that way, but I'm not going to want to do streaming because that, to me, I've never liked the idea of that. Some people, like with OnLive when it was around, was like, oh, it worked fine. Like it streams the game to it, and like if you push the button, it's right in sync. If you live within so many miles of like their data center.
Right.
And like, you had to have like, I think 3 meg upload minimum to even run the thing. So, I mean, grant you, it's only streaming it over my network. That's not a problem. I just don't think I need the idea. There's cheaper ways of doing what they're accomplishing.
Right.
So, I mean, there's some people are going to go buy it. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever.
I think those people are going to be the gamers who aren't tech people. Because, I mean, they're certainly out there. There are gamers who are huge gamers, but not necessarily the same people who could build their computer from scratch in 20 minutes in the dark.
Well, I mean, it's gotten so easy now. I mean, everything's color coded.
Well, I'm just saying that there are people out there who can't build their own system.
There are.
Who are still big gamers.
True. And there's some people that are just like, I would rather just pay for this and be done. They don't have the time to order all the parts, wait for it, install it, make sure it works, and install the OS, configure. They just want something they can buy at the store, hook it up, and they're done.
Right.
That's great. That's a very niche market. But the hardcore gamer is not going to want that. They don't want easy. They're going to want to make sure that every spec, everything that they want. Well, I'm just saying,
though, that some hardcore gamers are not necessarily tech people. And they're going to want that because they're going to say, well, this is like, a system that they built, for this. So it's going to have, the absolute best of everything. So they more like, like kind of like they customized it to run this. So it's going to run it better. than anything I can build myself or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if they specifically, maybe they do know how to put a computer together, but they don't know exactly, like, what the best.
But I think those people,
like, what cards run the best and what, like, well.
I think those people are console people.
Yeah. But how many hardcore console people are there?
A lot. There's a lot of people that will only play Call of Duty or Halo or anything like that on console. Even if they had the opportunity to play it on a computer, they're going to play it on console because they like the controller better.
Right.
There's a group. It's like in high school.
I mean, isn't that who this is targeted to?
Sort of. I mean, I get those people. I get the people who are going to want to use the Steam controller with the SteamBox or the Steam OS for like Limbo and like, third party type, view games. But when it comes to
can they buy a $3,000 machine to play a game that I can play on my iPad?
I'm serious. No, people will do it. They will do it.
Okay. Good for them.
I'm just saying, overall, the specs are great, and this is an awesome machine. But if you're getting the Titan with the i7, that's going to be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, if not more, because like I said, that card alone is $1,100 retail. So maybe if they get it for, costs from the company, $300-$400. I mean, you're still going to pay about $2,000 for this box.
Right.
They're not going to make any money off of it. I don't know if their plan is to make money off of it or not. They could just be like, hey, we're going to build this because we want to. And, F the profits. We don't care. Some people can be like that. And this will appeal to some people. But it's just like that small of amount of people that I don't think that the Steam OS is a good idea.
Right. Like I said, I thought that was fine.
So I think Steam OS will be great. The controller.
Can I play any game other than a Steam game? Like we were talking about games that come up on Orange.
No, you can't. It's only that's on Steam.
Okay.
Because some people were talking about, I'm going to replace Windows with this. No, because unless it's a Steam game, like you couldn't play World of Warcraft on it.
Right.
But if you could play any PC game on the Steam OS, Windows would be screwed.
True.
I think this appeals to some people. I think other people are not going to like it. Some people are going to use just the OS, and they're going to sell a good amount of units, but it's a very niche market, and hopefully they know that. So I just want the prototypes. I want to play with it, and it's cool. I mean, like especially if I don't want to use the Steam OS, I can use it for something else because you get to keep it. All right, moving on. Oh, this saddens me. I was so excited about the.
Oh, I was like, what? Oh, never mind. I
know. We heard on Destructoid and Kotaku and IGN that somewhere in like New Zealand, the Half-Life 3 was trademarked by Valve. Now we all know that when you go to publicly talk about a release, even if it's just getting started, anything like that, excuse me, you have to copyright and trademark it to keep it safe. So obviously we saw that it was in New Zealand, so that was kind of weird. And then there was a rumor that it was filed in the US, and everyone got really excited. And then there was a story about Valve announced the teams for Left 4 Dead 3, Half-Life 3, and the Source 2 engine. Apparently it was all just a hoax.
Sad pandas.
Sad pandas. Because I don't know about you. I love Half-Life. I have so many great memories with that game. I wish number 3 would come out, but I don't want a crappy product. If they're going to take this long, I don't want Duke Nukem. Okay, that thing took 12 years and it stank. But Valve's not going to do that. I know Valve's not going to do that. So if it takes them 10 years to get this out, so be it. But I got super excited because the trademark was filed and they were talking about teams that were listed. And I thought maybe we were getting just a little bit closer, but no.
You crushed that intern's dream.
The intern was very upset. She didn't even come to work today. She's not even in here.
That's how upset she was.
That's how upset she was. But no, I think this is kind of crappy. I mean, I wish Gabe, just give us something. We're talking about the SteamBox and your pretty little toy. I mean, give us something. Or is this all a ruse? Did it actually get leaked that they filed a trademark and they were like, crap, well, let's take it away. It got leaked. We don't want people to know about it.
But why? Why wouldn't you want people to know about it?
And, everyone keeps talking about, like, when are they going to announce Half-Life 3? How are they going to announce Half-Life 3? And I'm thinking, this is a lot of hype for one game. Grand Theft Auto had a lot of hype for number 5, and I think it lived up to it. But it wasn't like, I think it was like 5 or 6 years in the making. Half-Life 2 came out 2001.
Really? That old?
Yeah. It's been 10 years, I think. Maybe 8 or 9 years, but that's close to 10, I think. And I understand that, they want to work at it, but if Gabe came out right now, it was just like Half-Life 3 is coming out next year, the internet wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because he's teased so many things and shot so many things down. But we do know, and I don't know if anyone remembers this story or not. There was someone had went to Valve and did a studio tour and was taking some pictures. If you look on Destructoid, I think the story's on there. And they snapped a screen that was on someone's desk that had a list of all of the people who were working on what. And in there was the Source 2 engine, and there was also Left 4 Dead 3. And then a little bit below that was Half-Life 3. So, but voice actors have come out and said, oh, it's not even being worked on. Who do we believe? How far is it actually? Have they started?
They have to have started.
They've had to have started, right? Like, it has to be something in there that is working. I know the Source 2 engine is what it's going to run on. So why don't they just give us something? Just like, they can keep us on the hook. I understand what they want to do, but just give us a little something, Gabe. Just something. A screenshot. You have t-shirts. There's people wearing Half-Life 3 t-shirts that work at Valve. We know it exists. Stop trying to hide it. But yeah, the whole thing was, according to this, a hoax. I think it's a hoax within inside a hoax.
You hope it's a hoax.
I hope it's a hoax. Like, I hope that they're just covering up the fact that they trademarked it and then it got leaked and now they're just like, well hold on. Let's not do that. So I just want to play Half-Life 3. That's all we want, Gabe. Seriously. All right, moving on. So if you're disappointed like us, we know your pain. It'll eventually come out, I swear. All right, speaking of more rumors and other stuff that made people sad, apparently some specs got leaked for Watch Dogs, another game we're excited about, for the specs. And everyone was like, wow, you actually have to have a 64-bit OS, which is Vista with SP2, 64, Windows 7 or Windows 8. It won't work on Windows XP or even on Windows 7 32-bit. It has to be 64-bit. So we thought. Apparently, not so true. They did come out and say that the specs that were leaked online are not the final specs and that they will actually be releasing the correct specs within the next couple weeks. But everyone kind of freaked out about you have to have a 64-bit OS.
Doesn't the game come out this month?
It comes out in November.
Okay.
Comes out the
16th, I'm thinking.
No, I don't remember now. It has to come out the 15th because I think it launches with the PS4.
That's fine.
So, it's coming out soon. The specs obviously are going to come out. But the internet kind of went kind of crazy because they were like, oh my God, you have to have a 64-bit OS. Dude, what year is it?
Seriously, does it everybody?
It's 2013, going to be 2014. If you're still rocking the 32-bit, it's time to upgrade. Okay. I understand businesses using 32-bit, things like that. But if you're playing games on your computer, you built your computer for that purpose, you're going to run a 64-bit OS. You're going to run 64-bit Windows 7 or Windows 8. I don't think Windows 8 even comes in 32-bit. Pretty sure it's just 64. The specs weren't too horrible.
Are you going to be able to play it?
On this one?
Uh-huh.
I don't know yet. According to them, the specs that are on here, they're a little bit lower than this. According to the ones that were posted, Windows Vista 7 or 8, Note that we only support 64-bit OS. That's what it says on the thing, which is not true. A DVD drive, 20 gigabytes of space, a DirectX 9 compatible sound card. Like, really? Why even list that? Internet broadband connection required for services for like multiplayer, things like that. The PC requirements for the version of Watch Dogs. This is kind of the killer. Is it does require a DirectX 11 GPU. There's some people that are still on DirectX 9, so you guys are kind of just out the door. Unless, like I said, these aren't the final ones. They go back and change that. But if you've looked at the game, you understand why. It has to have at least 1 gigabyte of RAM, a quad-core CPU, and 4 gigabytes of RAM are the minimum specs for Watch Dogs. Not that bad. Now, they did say that these are actually supposed to be... They're actually going to have a little bit lower than these. So it may scale pretty well. Like, again, but you're not going to get all the eye candy and, 60 frames a second on a computer that's, 4 years old. You're probably not going to get that. The recommended is a DirectX 11 GPU with 2 gigabytes of RAM and an 8-core CPU or more with 8 plus gigs of RAM. So if you want all the eye candy and all the foo-foo stuff to make it look like what it looks like, you're going to need a pretty beefy system.
You have that, though, don't you?
I have a 6-core.
Okay.
So, but like I said, these aren't the final ones. And it's up to, these are just a recommended. So if you have anything from the minimum specs to the recommended, anything in between should work fine. Gameplay will vary just depending on your hardware. So, I mean, if these aren't correct and they're actually going to be a little lower than that, then not bad. Then it means they've optimized the game fairly well. I mean, it could definitely be worse. It could be like Battlefield, which I'm not going to get able to play now. Just saying. Yeah, but as far as the specs, I mean, when you think about it, it's a Grand Theft Auto type game.
Right.
As far as we don't know exactly how big the world is. It's set in Chicago. We all know about the hacking and everything like that. I think the multiplayer sounds cool. I don't think that if you're running the super high-end system that you're going to have to worry about it too much. I think a mid-range system to moderate will probably run it okay, probably 30 frames a second. But if you want the 60 frames and all the eye candy, well, yeah, you're going to want to run something that's
better. A
little bit more beefy, probably within the last year, maybe 2, depending on what hardware you bought. So yeah, I mean, it's not horrible. It definitely could have been a lot.
It's not unplayable.
No, it's not unplayable. Now, just to kind of jump ship for a second, some people have gotten to play the Battlefield 4 demo, not demo, but like the beta. It looks pretty cool, but a lot of people are actually talking about that the specs that they listed are pretty on, that if you don't have towards the high end, you're not going to get 60 frames. I think that's kind of a bad move. I think they should have been able to scale it a little bit more. So if you haven't got to play it yet, or you haven't pre-ordered, check the system specs because they're pretty right on about it. So just throwing that out there. All right. Well, I think we're almost done. You're like, no, look at her. She doesn't want to go. She wants to do this forever.
Forever.
Before we go, though, throw this back out here. Don't forget, there's a calendar on the website. Go to gamertech.tv. It's on the side of the thing. There's a link on the top. Add it to your system so you don't forget any of the live dates, any of the coverages we're going to have. It's all on the calendar. It's there for a reason. We're going to be covering BlizzCon on November 8th, which I hope, and this is the thing too, we've told everybody on November 8th, I hope the press conferences are on the 8th and not the 9th.
We're gonna cover it on the 8th and the 9th. Let's go with that.
Okay, we'll do that. We're going to cover as much of the event as we can, either on the 8th and the 9th, or for both days. So don't forget that it's marked on the calendar. We'll definitely be sending out the tweets and the Facebook. You can follow us on any of the social media links. I'll throw them here on the screen. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, Google+, YouTube. If you're not watching the video and you're listening to the audio version, go to our website. All the links are at the top so that you can just click on them and follow them. And please go like the Facebook page. She's getting so depressed. Look at her. There's only 5 people who've liked it. I know Facebook's dying, but come on. But come on, Facebook. gamertechtv. Go like it. It makes her happy. All right. So I think that's about it. Now, like I said before, this is not our normal time. We did this because I got sick on Saturday. So we'll be back live Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday for Unlocked, for WoW. Might do some Counter-Strike. I don't know yet. I'm still working on that one. I got WoW working. I got to get Counter-Strike working. And then we'll be back Saturday at 8 p.m. Central. I'm thinking of the other show. So 8 Central Standard Time on Saturday for gamertech.tv. And I think that's it. Anything you want to add before we go?
No, that's all.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Positive?
Positive.
Okay, I'm getting ready to go because last time you interrupted me.
I can't feel my feet, so let's go.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of gamertech.tv. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media links, and thanks to Personas for sponsoring this week's episode. Until next time, people, go play more games.